Now that we've got our woofer hole cut, we're going to go ahead and do a quick check to be sure the woofer fits, and then we're going to move on to carpet in the box. So let's drop this in. Look at that. Perfect fit every time. So we're going to go ahead and get some carpet. Look at that. We'll lay this out. We'll lay the box out, rough cut the carpet, we'll apply some glue, and we'll go ahead and trim it up, get this thing ready to be installed in the car. All right, we're going to go ahead and carpet this. We've got the carpet laid out. We've got our glue, which we use a Weldwood. It's a contact adhesive designed for automotive interiors. There's a couple of ways to apply this. Some guys might use a paintbrush. It's a little trickier to use a paintbrush to get a good even coverage. We like to use a spray gun, just an inexpensive throwaway. We not care about the ultimate finish. We just want to apply the glue evenly. One of the keys is to get a spray gun with a large orifice. This one we're using has a 1.3 tip in it. So I'll go ahead and hook it up to the air. I'll start on the baffle here, and we'll get it glued. And then we'll fold the box down, and we'll glue the back and the sides, and do some trimming. You notice because we're using a contact adhesive, you have to spray both materials, and then you need to actually let it dry. And then once they're dry, the two will stick together. If you put them together wet, it has a tendency to lift. Be sure there's no wrinkles in it when you apply the two surfaces together. And as you can see, it's stuck and nice and even now. So we're going to go ahead and glue the top and the back, and then fold it over and start on the bottom and the sides. Be sure there's no creases, no wrinkles. You can fold the back on itself, and you can feel that there's a tight line there. Once in a while, you'll get one side that wants to roll over on top of the other. Needs a little adjustment. You can take a dead blow hammer and work right on that edge. You can feel exactly where that carpet overlays. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim this seam. There's a couple of ways you can do it. Some guys might want to take a razor blade and just cut right along that seam. I've found that if you have a nice quality pair of scissors, you can come in on a 45-degree angle to that seam and cut right across it. Just like that. Nice, straight, even seam. Easy to do. Just pay attention, control the scissors, you'll have a perfect result, just like that. Now I'm going to prep the ends here. So I want to leave a little bit of overhang so I have something to trim off. So I'm going to cut about 1 inch back all the way around. Trim the corners up. Now you can see we've got a nice little flap that will fold right up over here and cover the end. I like to leave all the carpet on it until after I've glued it, so it just minimizes your chance of overspray. Okay, we want to be sure to keep these flaps up and out of the way as much as we can. We'll pull this into place. Start in the middle, make sure it's nice and tight. There's no wrinkles. And as you bring the sides together, be sure and keep that nice and square. Do the same here on the bottom and the back. Now you can definitely feel how tight that line is. You know exactly where you're going to cut. Be sure the carpet's not doubled over or anything. Looks nice and even. Pull the back, lay my scissors on a 45, come right in. Trim her down. the last thing we need to do is go ahead and cut the woofer opening out. So I've got a utility knife. No, it's right here. Score it right in the middle. Just run it right around the edge of the wood. And there you have it, ready to be loaded. Now that we've got the woofer box all carpeted, we'll go ahead and install the wire and install the woofer.
Sweet. All right, here I am. I've got the terminal cup and the hole saw. So where are we going to put this thing?
Well, normally I don't like to use a terminal cup. There's a big chance for an air leak. We've worked really hard to make this an airtight enclosure. So why don't we just drill a hole where we can run a 12 gauge wire in instead of maybe the 18 gauge wire that would fit in this terminal cup. And we can silicone it on the backside and be sure this thing stays airtight.
Sounds good to me. I'll get the drill bit. So this is a dual voice coil woofer. So what we're going to do is it's a dual 4 ohm P3 woofer. So we're going to wire the voice coils in parallel and make this woofer a 2 ohm load at our amplifier. And for more information on how to wire dual voice coil woofers, you can visit our website at rockfordfosgate.com, and we've got all kinds of different wiring diagrams for multiple woofers, up to 4 woofers, in dual 2 or dual 4 ohm configurations. So what we're going to do is we'll wire a jumper wire from these terminals and parallel on the other side. So now the voice coils are wired in parallel, or positive to positive and negative to negative. So that means that we'll have a 2 ohm load at our amplifier. So since we're not using a terminal cup because they leak, and another thing is the terminal cup will only hold maybe up to a 16 gauge wire, we're going to drill some holes in the side of our box and seal it with silicone so that way it's completely sealed out. Now what you want to do here is the P3 woofers and all Rockford woofers come with hex head screws that are wood screws. So line the woofer up so that the logo is straight, and you always want to pre-drill your holes so you don't strip the wood out, especially with MDF. So it's much better to try and pre-drill them out. That way the screw drives in nicely.
Always drill away from the middle of the woofer.
So you notice how Greg is holding the drill. He's actually holding it at an angle away from the woofer. Now, the reason why we do that is so that when you drill the hole through and you run the screw in, the hole isn't too close to the woofer cutout and you don't strip the wood out. So that's a good, easy way to do it. Make sure that your screw bites in to the MDF properly, and also the screw won't have a tendency to strip out that way. So just a little bit of angle when you're pre-drilling gives you the screw a much better place to dig in.
Be sure to set the clutch on the drill so again you don't strip out the wood when you're setting these.
The clutch is this little thing here on the top of the drill, and it has different settings. So what we find is a lot of people like to leave it on like full on screw mode, and that overdrives the screws and you strip the wood out. So this drill goes up to 17, so somewhere in between like 8 or 9, and just make sure that you're not stripping the wood out when you're cranking the screws in. That's the sound it's supposed to make, and that's the clutch engaging.
So the last step is installing the trim ring. We've already pre-drilled it, so we'll set it over, line it up, set our screws in. Jason can go ahead and mount it.
All right, so there we are. We hope this video helped you learn about how to build a subwoofer enclosure. For more information and woofer diagrams and specs and tools, make sure you visit our website at rockfordfosgate.com. I'm Jason Degos.
I'm Greg Cobbs.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.